Congratulations on your new Tab 400 and welcome to the nuCamp family. Now before you begin your adventures, let's take a look at your trailer and review the details and the operations so that you can begin your travels with confidence. We're going to start right up front with the hitch. Now, if you have never connected a trailer to a tow vehicle in the past, it's very simple. Lift up the handle and pull back on the collar, and it's going to slide up out of the way. Pull your tow vehicle back where the ball is positioned just underneath this, and then crank the trailer down onto the ball with the handle. Very simple to do. Once you've located that and it's sitting right on that ball, just push this latch forward. Now the way you can tell that this is engaged correctly is there is 2 tabs and a slot right underneath. If those tabs are in the slot, you're good to go. Before you leave, you've got a few more things to connect. There are chains on both sides, and you'll want to cross these chains and hook them on to the hitch that's on the vehicle. You'll also want to connect the 7-way plug. Now this 7-way plug has a tab right on the top. You'll open the cap that's on your tow vehicle and be sure this tab lines up with the slot on the plug. Plug it in completely and lock the cap down over the top. That is going to provide not only the electrical for your taillights, but it will provide power to the electric brakes. You'll want to be sure that you have a brake controller on your vehicle. That brake controller can either be mounted under the dash or there are wireless brake controllers that can be plugged in the back. Either way, that is going to work with this 7-way plug to make the brakes on the trailer engage every time you step on the brakes in your vehicle. That's important for safe towing. A few more things that we're going to talk about there. There is a breakaway cable for those electric brakes, just in case in some situation your trailer disconnects from your vehicle. This breakaway cable pulls a pin and engages the brakes on your trailer without the power from the tow vehicle. Basically, it's a safety measure, so if your trailer and vehicle get disconnected, your trailer is going to stop. So the way you do that is you clip this onto the same place that you would connect the chains. Very simple to do. You simply want to be sure it doesn't drag on the ground. All tow vehicles will be a little bit different distance, so be sure that you don't have chains or a wire or a plug down where it can catch on the ground and drag. Now the last thing you'll want to do before you take off is to raise the jack up to its highest level so you get the most clearance. The caster is removable, and to do that, you just pull this pin and the caster will drop right off. Then you can store it in the tub behind me or you can store it in your tow vehicle. Remember to pin it right back on when you're lowering this down to disconnect the trailer from your tow vehicle. The spare tire is mounted underneath the tub at the front of the trailer. Very easy access from the passenger side with the crank to raise and lower that spare tire when you need it. All Tab 400s are going to have a diamond plate tub on the front. Now, inside here is the 5-gallon propane tank. Now, this is the same size as the ones that you'll find at the convenience stores that you can exchange, or you can always stop in at any propane filling station and refill it. Now, the way you do that is turn the connection right here, disconnect the regulator, and there is a wing nut right here that you may need a pair of pliers or it's hand tight. Just loosen this and the entire tank will come out of the holder right here. Now, if you want to run any propane appliances, be sure to turn on the propane first. You will want to turn it counterclockwise to open it up, and of course, clockwise to shut off the propane. Great storage in here. The regulator is right behind it. There is absolutely no other maintenance that you really need to do up here in the front with this. Now, underneath this tub is the aluminum platform, and it's part of the Boondock package if you have that on your Tab 400, and it is great for extra storage. You'll notice there's handles on the front of this Tab 400, and they are not just for show. These handles will help you manipulate the trailer into the correct position. The driver's side will have the venting for the Cool Cat air conditioner, and down below, I want to show you the stabilizer jacks. There is one on each corner of the trailer, and these are not meant for leveling. They are to stabilize the trailer once you have it leveled. Very easy to do. Just attach the crank and crank it down until it's snug on the ground. There you go. A little further down, you will see the hookup for the sewer hose to dump your black and your gray tank. The handles are color-coded, so the black, of course, will dump the black tank, the gray will dump the gray tank. Taking this cap off, you will notice there is bayonet fittings on the end of it. When you attach your sewer hose, it will have these same bayonet fittings on it. So simply put it on there and twist it to the right until it's fully turned to have the knobs right up against the corner of the bayonet fitting. That way you know it's secure. Once you need to take your sewer hose off, just of course reverse it, put the cap back on, and you're ready to go. Right behind the wheel well is the 30 amp plug. When you're plugging in your cord, there are 3 prongs here. One of them has a little bit of a notch in it, so be sure you match that up when you're attaching the cord. And you'll want to push it in all the way and turn it slightly to the right. Now there is an additional collar here that you can twist on for security. Underneath your shore power plug is a portable solar panel plug. Now this plug is in case you wanted to purchase a portable solar panel and plug it in to the trailer, maybe park in the shade, have that panel in the sun. There is a 165 watt solar panel that is mounted on the roof that comes with your trailer. Now, if you wanted to run both a portable and the solar panel that's on the roof, that is just fine. If the plug on your portable solar panel doesn't match up exactly to this one, don't worry about it. An adapter is inexpensive and easily available online. This is the Nautilus system that controls a lot of your water systems on this trailer. It has a few other features in it as well, but I want to point out first the light that's on this left panel. Right now, it is turned on, but if you flip the switch to the other side, right at the top, it's going to go into a motion sensor mode, which means that anytime you open the compartment and put your hand in to change any operations, then the light will come on. So that's very convenient. There is satellite and cable connections up here at the top. The satellite isn't wired in, but the cable is. So if you're at a park and there's a cable connection, you just screw it in right there for cable TV. Now, if you have a portable satellite and you would like to use that connection, you can move the wiring from the cable to the satellite on the back of this panel. All right, down below, this first connection on the left is the city water fill. Before you connect it, you'll want to come up from underneath. There is a hatch door here. Just open this up. The hose can come up through the center, and this little slide opens up so there's a slot. Close that over the hose and connect it right there on the left. You'll see a similar connection on the right that's black. This is for black tank flush. When you connect a hose at this point to the hydrant, then this is going to go into your black tank to clean it when you're dumping. Be sure if you do hook up a hose to the black tank flush that your dump is open and water's flowing through so it doesn't fill your tank and come up through the toilet. I always recommend that when you're using your black tank flush that you use a different hose from your water hose over on the city water side. Now, there is a valve in there that should keep it from having any backflow, but just in case, you might want to use a separate hose. The water pump switch is in the upper right-hand corner here, and keep in mind there is an additional water pump switch on the inside controls as well. The switch underneath, the red switch, it is built into this panel, but it is not used by the Tab 400, so it doesn't operate anything. The part of the Nautilus system that is so confusing to people is the valve settings right here in the center of the panel. Fortunately, they have simplified this by giving you pictures of every situation. So they give you the valve configuration for dry camping, or if you simply want to fill the tank. If you're running off city water fill, which is right here, winterizing and sanitizing. Simply take a look at the picture and set the valves to match exactly. Right now, these valves are set to the city water inlet, and that would be if I was simply connecting a hose here, connecting to the hydrant, and not filling the tank or running with the water pump. If you have any more questions about winterizing, sanitizing, it will all be in the manual. In the center is the outside shower. You will have a coiled hose like this with a sprayer on the end that comes with your trailer. The end of the connection is a quick connect. So in order to connect the hose, push back on this plastic collar, push in, and let the collar come over the top. Then you're fully connected. Give it a quick tug, be sure it's in there securely. And of course, the left and the right will be your hot and cold water for your sprayer. To disconnect, you do exactly the opposite. Push back on the collar, and this piece will come out. Very simple. The last part of this water system is to show you the low point drains underneath the trailer. So behind the wheel on the driver's side system is the valves to drain the cold water, the hot water, and drain the fresh water tank. Behind the Nautilus panel is the Alde vent, simply a vent for your Alde system when it's running. On the back side, there's handles as well. Again, not just for show. You can maneuver the trailer into the perfect position. Now, underneath the trailer, on the passenger side, in the rear, you will see the gas port. This is great for hooking up a grill. To insert the hose that comes with your gas grill, the first thing is you want to be sure that this lever is perpendicular and is cutting off the flow of gas. When it's in that position, it will allow you to push this collar back, insert the hose, and pull the collar back over it to lock it in position. Be sure that in order to make the gas flow, you're going to need to pull that lever forward. The gas will flow through to your grill. When you're done and you want to remove that, again, shut off the gas flow, pull the collar back, and the hose will be able to be pulled out there. Be sure that whenever you're traveling, that this is in the perpendicular position and the cap is on that gas port to keep all the dirt and road grime out of it. On the passenger side, there is a battery vent right here, and in front of that, a storage compartment. Now, something new on the 2022 Tab 400 is that there is a lock on this compartment. Nice feature to keep everything secure. To unlatch it, just move these handles to the right. This is a watertight compartment, so they're a little stiff. Magnetic catch at the top. And on the right-hand side, you will see a light and a battery disconnect switch. This light also has two positions. You can actually turn the light on, or you can turn it to motion sensor. To the left, you'll see the battery disconnect switch. And if you turn that a quarter turn counterclockwise, that will disconnect the battery. On the back of this compartment is a resettable breaker for your battery. If you experience a loss of battery power, then you might want to check here. Let me show you what that breaker is going to look like if it has been tripped. If the breaker's tripped, this yellow leg will come down, and all you need to do to reset it is to snap it back into place. Now to the right, you will see two fuses, and those are for the solar panels. One is going to be for the solar panel that's mounted on the roof. The other is for the portable solar panel port on the other side of the camper. If you're having problems getting solar power and charging your battery, check those fuses. The 110 outlets next to the door will be operational when you're plugged into shore power. Now let's head inside. This Tab 400 feels so open and spacious on the inside. Let's start in the kitchen. The glass top on the sink just lifts straight up, and the faucet swivels up and down as well. Now, to turn the water on, you pull the handle out. You'll notice there's a blue tab here and a red tab at the top, because as this swivels up and down, you adjust the temperature of the water. Out to turn the water on, and then push it back up. Be sure that everything is folded down below the countertop level when you put the glass top right back down. To operate the stove, be sure you've turned on the propane and simply lift up the glass top out of your way. Grab this knob right here, push in and turn it to light. Very simple. The gas will be coming out of the burner, and to actually light the burner, just push the sparker button in the middle. That will ignite the gas, and then you can adjust it to high or low depending on what you're cooking. Now, when you're done, just turn the knob to off. The flame will go out, but be sure you let it cool before you put the lid down. Now, to put the glass top down, you will need to lift it up, and you will hear a little bit of a click there, and then it should lay down without any resistance at all. Let's look up above for just a minute. I want to remind you that the lighting in the kitchen is right here. This indirect strip, it really adds a little bit of ambiance in here, but more than that, it really helps to light up the counter. The latch system in this trailer is a little different than you maybe have seen in the past. When it's flush, it's actually locked. So this is the position you want it in when you're traveling. To unlatch it, push the button, the handle will pop out and allow you to grab it to open the cabinet. Once you close it, push it in, and again, it's flush, which means the cabinet is locked. The galley is a great place for me to show you how these windows operate. Now, there will be latches that just simply lift up to unlatch them here. Some are going to have a red button, and you push the button to open that latch. The window pushes out, and you can tighten these knobs on the side at any opening position that works for you. When you close the window, you have two latching positions. When you bring it in, if you take a look, there is a slot right between this, and if you latch it in the slot, that's going to leave some airflow. It goes right in here like this. Be sure that whenever you latch it, you have to push the red button. And that leaves a space between the window and the outside so that you do get a small amount of venting and still keep your window secure. That would be helpful if you are cooking, you just want a little venting, or you're having a condensation issue on a very humid day. All of that is going to give you a little bit of venting, but you don't want to go down the road like that. Be sure to latch it completely when you travel, all the way on the inside. Otherwise, it can damage your window in transit. Now, this window is going to have a screen and a blackout shade. The screen is going to pull down from the top and clip into place here at the bottom. To disconnect that, just pull that clip out and slide it right back up. If you need a blackout shade, that is the bottom piece. Lift that all the way up. Again, it can click together with that and go all the way up for a full blackout. Push on the bottom of this to disconnect and all the way back down. Be sure that when you're traveling, your screen is all the way up. Now, I want to point out there is a plug right here on the left of the galley. This is a GFI plug, and it's on the same circuit as the one in the dinette. Be sure that if your plug quits working, that you, just like in your house, push that red button to reset it. Let's look at all the controls for this trailer, which are right here at the end of the kitchen cabinet. The first one is the Alde system right here at the top left. Push the on button. It shows Alde, proudly made in Sweden, and then you will see the temperature inside the trailer at this time. If you hit the menu button, it's going to give you the controls. Alde controls not only the heat for the trailer, but also the hot water. The top line here is showing the furnace part of it. So this is showing it's set on 83 degrees. Now, if we want that to go up or down, we can hit the plus or the minus to make that happen. Below that is the water heater. So the water heater right now is not on, but if we wanted to turn it on, you hit the plus, you will see that it colored in half of the triangle there. Now that means that your water heater is heating or trying to, but in order to get all of these systems to work, you have to designate a power source. The two lines below are going to give you the power source of how the Alde is going to run. If you would like it to run on electric, you can push this plus sign and you'll see 1 kilowatt. You also have the option for 2 kilowatt. The difference is 1 kilowatt is good for 110 power or plugging in at your house. If you're plugging in at a campsite and you have 30 amp service, you'll want to go to 2 kilowatts. The next thing is gas. You have the option to hit the gas button and it simply lights the system on gas. Now, if you've pushed both of these, you see I now have electric power and gas power selected. Then it depends on which one you have prioritized. That's in the settings. So let me show you that. If you go to settings right here at the bottom right corner, push settings. Let's get that settings menu to come up. Most of the rest of this is showing the display and a timer. This prio right there on gas and electric gives you the ability to prioritize gas or electric. Do you want gas or do you want electric? And what that means is that if you have both selected, it will pick the priority that you have set. And if that's not available, it will then look for the other source. So you can select both if you want, or you can simply tell the system how you would like it to run. The key is, if you don't select either one of them, your system isn't running. So be sure you make a selection. One more thing I want to show you. If you go back to the menu, we have 2 kilowatts here. If we push this plus button again, you do that, you see that you have full bars here and it is solid black. That is a boost system for hot water. If you have stopped and you want hot water as quickly as you can get it, you can boost the system with that second push of the plus sign, and that makes the entire bar black. Now, when you do that, it will get hot water faster. What it will also do is redirect all of that hot water to the water system and not to heat the camper. So if you can pause the heat, then you can boost that system. It drops off after 30 minutes. So even if you boost the system, it's going to drop back to standard hot water after 30 minutes and your furnace will come back on. On the initial system here that shows the temperature inside the trailer, you also can get some icons that will show you what's running. Up on the left, if you see the circle with the arrows, that means that the water's being circulated and it's heating your camper. There is also an icon on the right that looks like water with a thermometer in it, and that is telling you that your water heater is working. On the far right, there will be a cord that will show that you're plugged in and it's running on electric. So look for those icons on the main menu to see what is working at that time. All right, I hope that helps you not to be afraid of this control system. Once you get the hang of it, you will love this Alde system. Below the Alde control panel is the Dometic controls. Now that controls your Dometic CoolCat air conditioner. Very simple. There's a mode button on the left. The first time you hit it, it is going to control the fan. So right now the fan is on auto, which means that when the air conditioner comes on, the fan will come on with it. Now some people don't want the fan to come on and off over time. Maybe it's at night, maybe it's noisy. If you would like the fan to run continuously, you can hit this again on the up or down arrow and it will go to low or high, depending on what you set. The next mode will be setting the actual cooling temperature right here. Right now it's set on 65, so it will come on and try to get the trailer to that temperature. The next mode is going to be heat. This is a heat pump system, so you do have an electrical source for heat if you would like to run that heat pump. And again, to control the temperature, on the right you have up and down arrows. To hit it again, it turns off. Very simple to use. To the right is the monitor panel. On the left is going to be showing the tanks and how full they are. It goes from empty up to full, or if you're looking at your battery, low to a full battery charge. Now, depending on which button you push on the right-hand side, these indicators will light up to tell you the actual situation in those tanks or the battery. So this will show that all of the tanks are empty and the battery is fully charged. If you plug into shore power and then come into your monitor panel to check your battery, it's always going to show full. So if you really want to use this to see how much battery charge you have, be sure to unplug from shore power, press the battery panel, and you will be able to see the batteries on their own. All right, there is a light right here for the water pump because you have a water pump switch right here. This water pump switch is the second water pump switch. The first one is out in your Nautilus system that we reviewed earlier. The rest of these, simply lights. Your outside porch light, the sink light, just above the kitchen, and then your accent lights here, which are your main cabin lights. All the switches right here on the end of the cabinet. Let's move on. Down below is the converter. Now the converter is going to take the 110 power, the shore power, and it's going to turn it into battery power. If you push on the top, the door opens. The breakers on the left are working with a 110 power, and everything that it works with is right here listed on the left to coordinate with each breaker. On the right, you have the listings for the fuses, which are working off your 12-volt system. The converter also charges your battery. The Tab 400 comes with an AGM battery. It's located underneath the bed in a rear compartment, and it's a no-maintenance battery. Other batteries are options, though. If you move to a standard wet cell battery, no problem. This converter could work with it. But as of 2022, if you wanted to upgrade to a lithium battery, which is generally more powerful, again, a no-maintenance battery, the converter will now work with that lithium. Another feature that this converter does is it charges the battery while you're plugged into shore power. The other way to charge your battery is when you're plugged into your vehicle traveling. That's also going to be charging that battery. Now, in the back of this kitchen is the television. In the 2022 model of the Tab 400, this is a 110 television. Don't worry, if you're dry camping, it's going to work great because there's a 1200 watt inverter in the back of this trailer underneath the bed, and it is powering the 110 outlet right here on the left and another one in the other side of the bed area. So anything you plug in back here, if you turn the inverter on, is going to work just fine, even if you're not plugged into shore power. The switch for the inverter is in the storage cubby right next to the refrigerator. So right down here, in the center is the inverter switch. If you push the center button, the green light comes on. You have to hold it for just a second, and you will see also the blue light came on right here on the 110 plug. There are blue lights on all of the plugs to show you that there is power to it. Right now it is being powered by the battery. If you're boondocking, you may be concerned about your battery usage. Every Tab 400 has a 165 watt solar panel on the roof. So if there is sunshine, it is charging that battery. If you want to see more about the operation of your battery, how much power is left, any information on the solar panel, there is an app you can download. It is called Victron Connect. And by opening that, you'll be able to see all kinds of information concerning your battery. Very handy. Now, there will ask you a code when you first open it. That code is 6 zeros. That's factory set. 6 zeros will get you in. If you want to change that code, feel free. There is a way to do that on here. And for more information, check your manuals. There's just a few more things over here to show you. The switch for the indirect lighting in the bed area is just above the inverter switch. The air conditioner vent right there on the side and the speaker above. There are 2 reading lights right here on this panel. They have 2 settings. You can have a blue light by a quick touch right here, or if you hold this button down, you get a bright white light. Again, a quick touch and it turns it off again. Lots of choices right there in lighting in the bed area. There is storage right here under this center panel. Just lift up the mattress, grab the handle, and there is actually a nice storage space, easy access. Drops right back down. And this is a good time to talk about the Froley system. This system gives you not only a more comfortable mattress because it acts a bit like a box spring. It flexes when you lay down, but it also puts some air underneath your mattress. That helps with condensation and just general airflow, making sleeping a lot more comfortable. Now, one more thing, you can actually rearrange these mattresses so that it makes it a little difficult to get in that storage area. So be sure you have the widest mattress in the center, and then it's easy to access that storage area. I have removed the panel from the end of the bed. Now this is the driver's side. It's just a few screws and you can lift that panel right off. That gives you access to the Alde system, the back of the Nautilus, and the water pump right underneath. Now I wanted to show you a few things that will be really helpful for you in working with this Alde system. There is a mixing valve right here on the sidewall, and that controls how hot or how cold the water is coming out from the Alde system. If you need it to be a little hotter or maybe a little cooler, just lift up this red cap, flip it over. You'll see that there is a triangle on it, and that acts as a wrench. Fits right back down on this. If you turn it counterclockwise, then it will make the water hotter. If you turn it clockwise, it actually gets cooler. Once you adjust the temperature, lift the cap off, flip it over, and pop it right back in place. Now let's look at the Alde system itself. There is a black panel that pops right off the end, and that gives you access to the fuses right here. If you are controlling your Alde system up by the cabinet, then sometimes the system may go completely black. If that happens and you're having trouble with the controls, then you'll need to replace this fuse. From the factory, you will get a plastic bag with 2 extra fuses in it, and the fuse that you need to replace is in this green tab. Just pull it straight out and you'll see the fuse right here. Replace the fuse, pop it right back into place, and you're good to go. The panel just pops right back on there. Directly beside this Alde system is 2 yellow tabs. Alde is going to call those pressure relief valves, but they act secondary as low point drains. So if you needed to drain the water out of the Alde tank and the secondary flow tank, which is the red tank next to it, simply lift those tabs and you have another low point drain there. Those low point drains are also used if you wanted to winterize your trailer. But that is a different process that we're not going to cover here. If you would like details on that, just check with your manual. Right next to the water pump, there is a filter. If you notice some debris in there, you can unscrew that cap, clean the filter, put the cap right back on. That's always good to do to keep your system clean and working at the highest pressure. This Tab 400 has the optional 3-way fridge. Now, if you had the standard 12-volt fridge, it would be located down here underneath the stove, and the area that has the 3-way fridge would be a storage cabinet. To turn on the refrigerator, simply hold down the button until the display comes up. You'll notice there's a blue light right here, and that just tells you that the refrigerator is running. The A means it's running on automatic mode, and the plug, of course, it's running on shore power. When it's running on the automatic mode, it will run on shore power the way we have it set until we unplug it. Then it's going to move over to gas. If the gas runs out or you turn off the gas, it will move over to 12 volt. But the only way the refrigerator can run on 12 volt is if you have the 12 volt switch on right above the refrigerator. You see this red light means that the battery is now connected to the refrigerator. That's a safety switch so that if you're running this on automatic, it can't go to battery without you knowing it. So let's turn this battery switch off, run through the modes so that you can see how it operates. If you hit that button, it's going to bring the display back up. This square will move it off automatic. The battery mode is blinking because we don't have battery power. If you hit this button one more time, it goes over to gas and it will now try to light on gas. Your refrigerator can run 2 ways. You can put it on, hit that button to bring it back up again. You can do it on electric, on automatic, and it will find the best source. Or you can manually push this button and tell it exactly where you want it to be. Either way works great. Now the button on the right, this square, will simply raise and lower the temperature in your refrigerator. If it's really cold outside, you may want to run it at a lower temperature. If you're in 110-degree heat, you'll want to put that at the highest setting. To turn the refrigerator off, simply hold this button down until the display goes off and the blue light goes off on the button. Then you know your refrigerator is not working at all. If you've chosen the standard 12-volt refrigerator, you will have a cabinet here. The 12-volt refrigerator will be located underneath the countertop. And inside, on the right, this is the control to turn on the refrigerator and to adjust the temperature. If this control is on 0, then the refrigerator isn't operating. If you turn this, you have an option to go 1 to 7, and that's going to adjust how cold the refrigerator gets. Remember, it's a 12-volt refrigerator, but if you're plugged into shore power or traveling down the road, that battery is being charged. Right above the refrigerator is going to be the stereo, and of course this is AM, FM, Bluetooth. You'll have the USB and the HDMI. In the center of the trailer is a power fan. Now this is great for moving air around your trailer. Starting off, you want to be sure it is locked right here. Now it doesn't go all the way over to where the arrow is, but be sure it is turned as far as it goes when you want to lock it down for travel. To open it, unlock it right here, and the handle will open it. This fan goes 2 ways. You can pull air in, or you can have air drawn out of the cabin, and that switch right here will reverse it to the other way. Now be sure you don't do that while the fan is running, because that might blow a fuse. The fuse, if you need to replace that, located right here under this cap. Just untwist it, pull it out. You'll see the little glass fuse in there. It is a small 4 amp. Replace it, screw it right back in. The last thing you need to know is that it has 3 different settings. You can actually have it on low right here, a medium, or a high. Be sure that that power fan has stopped turning when you close the top. Crank this all the way down. And again, remember to lock it down for travel. There is a light in the center, and it works on a push button right in the middle. One push is a blue light. Second push is going to light it up with 3 different levels of white lights. And again, one more push turns it off. Stepping into the wet bath, it's going to be pretty much self-explanatory, but I'm going to go over just a few tips for you. Now, stepping in here, to turn on the shower head, just pull this center console handle towards you. If you want to adjust the temperature, you'll turn it right and left. If you'd like to adjust the height of this shower handle, then pull this towards the back, drop it down to whatever height works for you, and pull this knob towards the front again to tighten it. Very simple there. The sink, it's a magnetic catch here. There's nothing to unclip. Just give it a pull, bring it down, and just like the faucet on the sink in the kitchen, this adjusts to the height that you need it. This can pull down, and the temperature adjustment is rotating it up and down. Turning the faucet on and off is out and in. Remember that when you're folding the sink back up, both the handle and the faucet need to be in the up position. Now there is a GFI plug right here. It is its own GFI, so if this plug quits working, just push the red button to reset it. 2 different lights. One is in this cabinet, and one is right here on the power fan in the ceiling. To operate this power fan, you push the button and push the handle up. That opens the vent in the top. Right over here is the fan, turning it on and off, and on the side is a switch for the light. Again, push it once to turn it on, again to push it off. Be sure that before you travel, you push the thumb button right here and pull this handle down to close the vent. Now, one more thing. The door in this bathroom is meant for privacy. It is not meant for the shower. So if you are using the shower in here, Simply pull the curtain all the way around. That rail goes from the front panel all the way around on 3 sides to keep the water inside the wet bath. Once you're done, you can pull it back, and there's a hook right behind the toilet to keep it out of your way. The toilet operation, pretty simple. There is a foot flush right in the front. Push it halfway down to put water in the bowl. Push it all the way down to continue the water and to flush the toilet. The toilet paper holder has a cover on it. Very nice feature there. And over here, the portal window has a blackout shade. Now remember, with your shades on these windows, you want to be sure they're in the compressed position when you're ready to travel. Underneath the dinette seat in the front, right next to the bathroom, is the CoolCat air conditioner. Now, to clean the filter, you remove the cushion, and then you will see a small hinged panel. Just flip that back, and against that front wall is that filter. If you reach your hand in, you'll feel it. Lift it directly out, straight up, and you will have that air conditioner filter. On the other side, it looks like it ought to be showing, but it actually is facing inside the cabinet. All you need to do to clean this is some mild soap and water, and then set it out to dry. Once it's dried, you just slide it right back in. You will want to put the foam right next to the wall and lean it up against the wall, line it up, and just slide it right back down. So you'll want to clean those periodically, and depending on what kind of camping you're doing, you might want to do it after every camping trip if you're in a very dusty area. That's going to keep your air conditioner running great. There is also a smoke detector in the camper. It is right up here on the side of the bathroom. Now this is not wired directly to the battery in the camper. It has a 9-volt battery for power, and you want to be sure that you keep an extra 9-volt in case you need it to keep it working well for you when you're camping. So there are a few things in the dinette area we're going to look at. There is a light right above because sometimes you're going to need a light in the dinette area and you might miss this. It is right up here under this cabinet, and you just push the button. It has 2 levels, a bright and a dimmer one. Creates a great light on the work surface here. Right behind me in the corner is where you're going to check your glycol levels. That is the fluid that runs through your Alde system. Let's take a look back here in this portal window area, and you'll notice there is a minimum and a maximum line. You'll see that it is above the maximum line right now. That's because when it comes from the factory, that extra glycol is going to be taken up once the system is running by the air pockets. So it will come down in between the minimum and the maximum level. You see the 4 screws on each corner right here? If you take that out, this panel will be removed. Remove the cap at the top, and you can add more glycol to the system. When you need to add glycol to your system, just check with the nearest dealer that carries the nuCamp product. They'll be glad to help you out with that. Now I want to show you a few things underneath the dinette. Right here is some charging ports. You've got a 12-volt, 2 USB, and over here, 2 household 110 plugs and 2 more USBs. Next to that, you will see these long vents in front of the filter for your air conditioner are the intake for the air going into your CoolCat. The round vents up here are where the air conditioning comes out to keep your camper cool. Along the back wall, you will see the carbon monoxide detector, which is also your LP detector. There's a green light on it to show you that it is operating, and you can push a test button on it to check it every time you go camping. Now that detector is wired directly to the battery system on your camper. So be aware that if you hear a beep every 30 to 45 seconds, that's just letting you know that you may have a low battery and it's having trouble doing its job. If it is a continuous beep, then it's sensing some particles in the air and you have a potential problem. So be sure to check that out and don't ignore it. Now let's make this dinette into a sleeping area. First, you're going to push down on the 2 buttons at the back of the table. Now that releases the table from the bar against the wall. Before you lift the table off, pull the black release on the table leg and fold the table leg under, and it will latch in that folded position. That allows you to remove the cushions on the seats, lift this table off, and set it into place. Then you want to place the seat cushions back down on this bed and add the additional cushion in between for another sleeping area. To set it back up in a dinette, of course you do everything in reverse. Just be aware that once you connect to the bar against the wall, be sure this latch comes all the way up so that it's almost even with the tabletop. That's how you know it's latched into place. A few more things. There is a screen door that pulls across. Great for ventilation, having the screen in place to keep the bugs out. Slides right back out of the way. Now out here on the door, there is a blackout shade that's going to cover up the window and slides right back down, out of the way. Top for the trash can, but I want to point out one more safety feature. The fire extinguisher is in the lower corner here. You'll want to check the dial to be sure that that arrow is pointing up in the green zone. That's going to let you know that it is operating correctly and ready to keep you safe. The door latch, push down in the green. That's going to unlatch the door and allow you to open it. If you're inside and you'd like to lock the door, just flip that up in the red zone and your door's locked. Very simple operation. All of the appliances we've talked about here have their own operation manuals and warranty information. Now that's located in the black nuCamp bag that comes with your trailer. The nuCamp Owner's Manual, however, is located online for easy reference, and you'll find that at nucamprv.com/documents. If you have any other questions that we haven't covered here, feel free to reach out to your dealer for assistance. Again, congratulations on your new 2022 Tab 400. We are so glad to have you as part of the nuCamp family. And from all your friends here at nuCamp, we wish you many great adventures.